Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pradeep Mall, Ambassador of Change, Getty, Global Education and Training Institute, and you are on our Disruptive Education platform, for which we are very grateful to our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi, for having provided us this platform. And here we meet educators from India and all over the world. So far, we have had 1,000 interactions on this platform, and today we are very happy to have with us Mr. Muhammad Arif. He is the principal of the Central Public School in Samastipur, Bihar. He has 33 years of experience. He is the founder, director, principal of the school. He is a member of the CBSE inspection panel and is on other committees from time to time. He teaches history and English. He writes in English and Hindi in both fiction and non-fiction categories. He has 6 books published from England, the UK. He participated in the World Hindi Conference in Johannesburg, South Africa, and also visited England for the CBSE and IIT Delhi. He won a prize in CMS City Montessori Schools, Lucknow, for a paper on unique education philosophy. He will be speaking to us today on diversity in society and the classroom, how teachers can promote, reconcile, and handle it creatively. So thank you, sir, for being with us, Mr. Muhammad Arif, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mal. Hi, everyone. Let me begin by thanking Getty Foundation and its mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And the topic today I'm going to discuss is diversity in society and classroom, how teachers can promote, reconcile and handle it, and also the 21st century education issues with relation to next generation students. But before I attempt to explore this topic and the meaning of actually diversity, as the topic says, and in country and society level, and then in the context of 25 into 25 space, and that is called classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share with you a news item, in fact, which I happened to read this morning in the Hindu newspaper. And have a look. This will help us to develop our story and this talk further. I'll just show you, if you can see this. Yes, and this is here. I have highlighted certain points. It says Twitter storm seeks chapter on Northeast in NCERT books. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a picture of a boy in this, and I'll just tell you, his name is Paras Singh. He is from Punjab. And the whole news item, and it has been given a prominent place in this newspaper, the Hindu state newspaper of India. What this, he's a YouTuber. Paras Singh is a YouTuber, and I'll just read out what is written. It will make it very, very clear and the context also legible to all of you. A Punjab-based YouTuber's racial slur against an Arunachal Pradesh MLA failed a No Northeast campaign via a 2-hour Twitter storm on Friday. What he had done? There is another para which I will read. YouTuber Paras Singh was arrested and brought to Arunachal Pradesh capital Itanagar on May 27 for calling Congress MLA and former MP Ninong Iling and the people of state, that is Arunachal Pradesh, Chinese. And then what happens? The students, academics, professionals, politicians, and activists across the 8 northeastern states, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura bombarded the microblogging site, that is Twitter, with their complaints. And what they bombarded for, what they wrote on their Twitter accounts, they wrote that there should be a chapter. It's high time that the NCERT in its books publishes a separate thorough chapter on Northeastern culture, Northeastern languages, lifestyles, values. And actually, before I elaborate on this, the police arrested that boy because he had insulted an MLA and MP and the people of Arunachal Pradesh, and by thereby the entire Northeast, by calling them Chinese. Though they are Indians, very much they belong here, they are part of our motherland. Now the police arrested him, and what they are doing with that boy? As punishment, the Arunachal Pradesh police had been teaching geography, history and other aspects of state to the young YouTuber. Now, they took offense, and anybody will take offense if he is called a foreigner in his own homeland. And this is this is a matter of, we and them in the same territory, in the same boundary where we all live under the same boundary. A section of people are being designated as foreigners. Maybe he might have written that in joke, or maybe those northeastern people have a different appearance, and he wrote this. But then it was very serious matter, and you can see all the 8-9 states of northeastern region joined hands, and they are now demanding that the rest of India should know Northeast, not for only political ends, political reasons, for votes, but also to understand what they are, how they are part of India. Being different, still they are part of India. What Nehruji once said, we have to find and accept unity in diversity. So this could be very dangerous also. The topic is very, very important. Again, I repeat the topic: diversity in society and classroom. How teachers have a role, very important role, and probably we as teachers and our community, our fraternity, failed at some point in our careers, that a young man from North Punjab is calling the Arunachal people or the northeastern people Chinese. And the police walas, they are teaching him now as punishment the geography, the history, the values, the lifestyle of Arunachal Pradesh. Look, we are Indians. You don't know. Now, if it goes on like this, and a certain community or group of communities, states, they find and feel that they are being alienated, they are being misconstrued and misunderstood, and being laughed at, being ridiculed for something, since we are different. So it might take a different turn, an ugly turn. So that is not the topic of discussion today, but this is very, very relevant in my talk. So, coming to the topic, let me try to find the meaning, literal meaning of this word. Diversity we have to understand, literal as well as its connotation at social level and country level, as well as what happens with this diversity we find in the classroom situation, and that is very important. Diversity in very simple words means difference, variety. In more simple words, variety. For example, we have a thali, khane ki thali. You know, we have, especially Indians, they are very fond of variety in their thali. And that comes from the fact that India is a diverse country to begin with. India is a land of cultures. It has assimilated various cultures, various languages, various histories, in fact. And then this Indian culture has emerged. And so I'm giving example of Indian thali, in which you will find if it's a urban middle class dinner or lunch, you will find dal, two types of sabzi, and then chutneys and probably salad, and chapatis, and maybe puris also here and there, maybe some green chilies. So it makes the thali very, very colorful and very tasty to look at. So that is what our culture is. Even when we eat khichdi, which is a single grain or two grain dish, yellow colored, two grain. But we hardly eat khichdi without its attendant materials, companions. That is, we have put in some ghee in that, and then some chutney, some papad, some achar, and then we make, even that thali we make so colorful. That is how our India is. It's diverse. There is diversity in this country. So variety and difference. Nowadays we see there's a lot of talk going on in the intellectual circles, even in political circles, by politicians, intellectuals, activists, teachers, thinkers, diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion. What Nehruji said, we are different, but we are one. So we have to explore this difference, and we have not to let it go out of hand. It is very, very delicate also. Having diversity is having a lot of problem on your head, because you have to, like you have to ride a bicycle. You can balance so long as you are moving, and so you have to move with diversity, and you have to balance the different constituents, components which make this diversity possible. So the tool is inclusion. Again, I will bring in that example of Arunachal Pradesh in Northeast. They feel excluded perhaps from the system, from the mainland culture, from the mainstream. They feel this. So they need to be included in this. Then that will be a unity in diversity. Otherwise, it's very, and before every country, because of the diversity, USSR broke up into many parts. And I tell you, China, you see, very united country, but it is also diverse. But the moment communist government, its iron fist, its dictatorial power goes, China will be broken up into, say, about 15, 20 countries. But India, with all its diversity, is still intact. There are dangers, there are problems, like the one I shared with you in Arunachal Pradesh, maybe in some other parts. But at the end of the day, we are all one. So, inclusion and diversity are very important, and inclusion balances diversity. We will see this more to make things clear. At various levels we have seen in a diverse country, this is very much possible also. And for semi-literate politicians, semi-literate, unevolved species of people, it's very easy for them to tell someone that you are a foreigner or to you leave the country and go to some other country. They take advantage of that diversity, and anyone or anything that doesn't fit into their scheme is excluded. That is not going to help our country. You can see all those countries of the world, if you are a student of history, and I am, I did my post-graduation in modern history from Allahabad University, and we were taught all these things there. Any country, we have seen the collapse and breakup of big empires just for this simple reason that they could not hold this diversity in control with democratic means. India is doing it. But there are some cracks which schools have to fill up. So teachers have a very important role to play, which I will discuss as we progress through this talk. So at social level, what is diversity? We are populated by different kinds of people, ethnic groups, racial groups. India is called a subcontinent. All the races, traces of all the races you can find here. All ethnic groups, languages, religions, food, dress, political views. In every aspect, in every dimension, we are diverse, we are different, group-wise, even individually. And you take it from the very fact that a parent has 3 children and all 3 are different. So how can you control this? That remaining and maintaining their different identities, they still remain brothers and children of one parents. So that is what our governments have been doing since 1947 and till date. But we will see what and how teachers can do in this regard. So at social level, diversity is these differences which we have. And it is good that there are disagreements, there are differences in a democracy, in a vibrant society. There has to be difference of opinion, everything. Within, of course, the decorum, dignity, a limit prescribed by social values and constitutional restrictions. It has to be there. So at social level, diversity is this, which has to live, which has to thrive, which must thrive, and we have to help to make it vibrant and thriving. This is our duty. Remember this incident which I showed you, published in Hindu. We'll come across many more such antecedents anecdotes, and I will share with certain things when I was a young teacher in Delhi and other places, how this was handled and how this paid dividends. So that is the thing. So difference and diversity is the very basic idea of India. If one in one question, if there is a question asked, what is the idea of India? A book was written by Khilnani, the thinker based in England, Idea of India. So if he had his own views, but to me, if someone asks what is the idea of India, I will immediately say difference is the idea of India. Diversity is the idea of India. And in this difference and diversity, is in this variety, there is a sense of unity. Because from one part of India to the other part of India, one far corner to the other far corner, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, if Virat Kohli hits a six, everybody claps. And that is the unity in diversity. We speak different languages, we express same emotion through clapping. Clapping is one. That is for any Indian who does well, so Indians feel happy. So that is the idea of it. It's a very beautiful, very powerful idea, very dynamic force, very positive force. It can be used in a negative connotation for selfish interests by politicians or activists or selfish and self-seeking people, but otherwise this is very, very powerful idea. And the idea of India is this. So in conclusion we can say that diversity or difference is part of our culture, and we have to accept it and we have to respect it. This is very important. Simply I am saying we have to accept that it is there, and if it is there, we have to respect it. Not necessarily that we should agree to everything, but we will not fight with someone who has a different opinion, who has a different language, who has a different feature, whose eyes are inward, whose nose is a little flat, whose color is yellowish or black. I am not going to laugh at them. Indians will never laugh at them. They are not they are also we. So that is the idea of India. Now, where I think it is very scientific also. When I was looking at this topic, and in fact it's not new for me because as a history student and as a history and English teacher, I keep on telling my students, this diversity comes from nature, from universe, and we are lucky that our country has adopted this. Those who fight this idea of diversity are actually traitors. They don't know this country, they don't know the nature, they don't know the universe. See the universe. See the universe, the planets, the heavenly bodies, they're all different in sizes and in functions and in their locations. Some are satellites, some are planets, some are stars, and then there is black hole, there is galaxy, there is what not. And it all came from one single force, unity, and then diversity. And come to nature. Our nature is the greatest example of diversity. And in this subcontinent you can find everything. See the flora, fauna, all kinds of plants, trees, birds, animals. Just imagine a jungle inhabited by only lions, everywhere lions, or a jungle inhabited by only monkeys. Everywhere you see monkeys, 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 monkeys. How will you like this? No, it will be a boring place to go. It will be a dull place to go. Imagine a garden with rose flowers only, white rose or red rose. No. In our jungle, all kinds of plants and animals are there. In our garden, uh, in an ideal garden, in Indian garden, India is like a garden which is not only rose garden. It has roses, lilies, lotus, and it has dhak ka phool, gende ka phool, and thorny bushes also. और सबको लेकर के, and this is biodiversity. This is our ecosystem. And the moment you remove any of the constituents from the jungle or from the garden, it will affect our biodiversity. These different constituents balance the biodiversity and ecosystem. They balance it. So is true for our society. Ladies and gentlemen, so is true for our classroom, our school, the basic constituent, the basic component of our society, which is a miniature society, in fact. School is a miniature world, classroom is a miniature society. We'll come to that. So, our garden should be a multicolor garden, and our classroom, our school should be a multicolor. Though we have, all the schools have a uniform, that is fine, but still it has to be a multicolor classroom. Now, what is class? Generally, in general opinion, classroom is a place where students study, and students means good students. But a classroom dominated by only good students, coming from a certain socio-economic background, from a certain community, from a certain, speaking a certain language only, a certain build, certain stock, that class, and all brilliant. To me, that will be a very boring class to attend. A class can be colorful and becomes colorful, becomes creative, becomes multidimensional with its backbenchers and side benchers. And they have a place in every classroom. They must. There are schools, I've seen, and in school there are sections. I tried many times in my school to have a section of very good students. That didn't succeed. And so it had to be a mixed one. So backbenchers and side benchers, they add life to it. And they have a different utility, they have a different function, and they have a different talent. We must respect and accept them. And actually these backbenchers, like in a garden or in a bagicha, when you have seen these gulmahar ka tree and the dhaka with the bright colors and genda ka phool, they make the whole place very happy. So a happy classroom, a happening classroom is possible when we include all kinds of children in that classroom, when we give the space to all of them. And not only that, there are children, it's not that there are not no children of this category. There are these backbenchers and side benchers in every classroom. Unfortunately, they are not paid attention. Their value is not recognized. Like the value of dhak. लोगों को अच्छा लगता है. People like the bright colors. But when it comes to recognizing, which flowers take the cake away. So the backbenchers, and what I am saying, the different diverse elements in a society who are not part of the mainstream, they actually make, in their own way, they make the society a happy place, a useful place, a happening place. And a happy and happening classroom will definitely lead to a happy and happening society. So that is what I mean by this diversity, and and if you see, as a teacher, as a principal, uh, the side benches, because basic question is how teachers can promote and handle and relate and reconcile the diversity in the classroom. So it is the where our least attention goes, that is the backbenchers. Though they try to attract our attention, grab our attention, but we might misunderstand, and we just, when we go to them, we go either to beat them, which is prohibited, at least in our school, and or to scold them, or to pass a comment on them, or to threaten them that, well, come, I will take you to the principal's office. That is what we go to them for, mostly. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is the place, the side and the backbench, where the action is, where all the action is, and where inaction is at the same time, simultaneously, action and inaction, and maybe indiscipline too. But, ladies and gentlemen, and academicians and teachers, I am saying something from my own experience, that in that action, inaction and indiscipline, you have to discover your Newton, your Einstein, your Madame Curie, your Shah Rukh Khan, your Salman, your Sachin, your Virat, your Maradona, your Modi, Rahul, and even M.K. Gandhi. In the backbenches, you have to discover them, and you have to polish them. You have to give a chance. You have to bring them in the mainstream. Premchand, they were all Amish Tripathi. They were all back. Ask them, all the filmmakers and all those who were not front benchers, all those people who never got teachers' attention, teachers' love and care, teachers' recognition, are these. You have to find them from the side benches and from the, that is in this diversity. That is the diversity of a classroom, where you cannot afford to alienate, neglect a single child. That is the beauty of teaching, and that is the, then you actually, you make it very, it's a very sweet challenge. A diverse classroom is a very sweet challenge for the teachers, which he should meet head on. And if you work there, it becomes very challenging assignment for you, and it becomes, the whole class becomes very productive. The whole class becomes very productive if you take it that way, if you recognize that, respect that this thing, diversity. So diversity is the key. We have to respect, as I said, accept, protect, and promote. We have to promote them. Well, remain what you are. If you are coming from a poor background, no need to shame, and don't pass a comment on that. If you are good in, you will find all the musicians and all the players in the back benches. कभी फ्रंट बेंच पे नहीं बैठे ये बच्चे. यही डाइवर्सिटी है बच्चों की, इसी को बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स alike, boys and girls alike. So a teacher has, and this is very interesting also, very challenging also, and not difficult at all. I tell you, not difficult at all. The only thing is, if you are there for 35 minutes, think that I am going to use my attention and my energy, if not more to the back and side benches, at least in equal measure. So, in the same context, I am reminded of a book which I read a few years back, which I had read in my BA class also as an optional paper. There was reading fiction of your own choice, and then I reread it. It's To Serve with Love. To Serve with, this is a classic novel, and To Serve with Love, written by E.R. Braithwaite. To serve with love. I will not go into the detail of the book. There is one very good sentence in that. The teacher in context says to the students, "Oh, it's amazing that you are all different. It's awesome that you are all different." And he's happy that he is in a class where every child has a different trait, different in background, different in temperament, and different in studies, but he is happy that he has come in a class. There are other books which I may give passing references where this reconciliation in this racial discrimination, diversity has been very beautifully dealt, is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, in which two kids and a white man fights for the black, in America, of course, Harper Lee. And then there is a book, The Village School, written by Miss Reed. It's a small children's school, and how she deals with different children and their parents, who belong to different backgrounds. It's a single teacher school in England, and beautifully describes how she reconciles all the differences. And then England is a great country, though they were our rulers, but after all, they're great, free, liberal country, and many Indians have found shelter there and reached top places as businessmen, industrialists, educationists, professors, even in politics. There are many MPs of Indian origin in England, because it's very open society, liberal society. It calls and respects merit, talent, and that may be from any corner of the world. They don't believe in that unity, that, well, we will have our own. No. If anybody is good, they grant citizenship and they take. The mayor of London is a Pakistani, Sadiq Hussain, and so many Indians, everybody knows. So these books tell the story about this, but I would like to, because I have been told to speak on diversity in society as well as classroom. So at social and plane, I would like to give you example how this can break. It can be a breaking point, how this can mar your whole thing if not handled well. And teachers have to handle it well. Teachers have to read about it, observe about it, and do what they are actually supposed to do. टीचिंग ट्यूशन सब चलता रहेगा, लेकिन इसमें भी थोड़ा सा आपको ध्यान लगाना पड़ेगा. देखिए, I want to give an example of Pakistan. How it broke and why did it break? Once in 1971, and I hear a lot of news that it's on the breaking point again. In 1947, India is still strong, standing strong. I'll give you an example of Pakistan. After the partition of India, Pakistan became a nation, 1947. And it was in two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. East was Bengali speaking dominated, and West was Urdu speaking dominated. To make the story short, Jinnah, Ahmed Jinnah, who was the president of Pakistan after freedom, visits East Bengal in the very first year, because he died in 1948, the year Gandhiji died. He visits Dhaka, and in his speech, in one stroke, he says, Bengali is no more language of Pakistan. Pakistan, of course, East Pakistan and West. Now Urdu will be the official national language of Pakistan, both parts, East and West. Now, traditionally, West part was very dominant, and when the British ruled us, they had developed West Pakistan or Lahore, Karachi and other cities more than, of course, Dhaka and Bankipur and all places. So he says that Urdu will be now official language. You know, people love their language more than their religion. Jinnah didn't know that Qazi Nazrul Islam was in East Pakistan, though he was born in Asansol, but he shifted to East Pakistan. And Rabindranath Tagore was in India, Bengal. But both these writers are adored and admired. Qazi Nazrul Islam is worshipped in our part of Bengal, and Tagore, their part. He didn't know all this. He said, Bengali, no more, Urdu. Immediately there was resentment, protest, reaction, black flags, and whatnot. The seed of further breakup of Pakistan was sown that day in 1947 itself, when he didn't allow the language of it, the diverse language. When he stopped diversity, you cannot speak your language, or you cannot make it your own official language, he said. You know, ladies and gentlemen, most of you must be knowing that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the founder of Bangladesh, who was held by our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who actually was responsible for breaking Pakistan into two parts, who gave all the support to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was a young student in Dhaka, and he had gone to Karachi for some course. And many Bengali students used to go to Karachi and Lahore to study. It was their country. And what used to happen in West Pakistan, they had a kind of far superior ego, which is called aham in Hindi, ana in Urdu. तो उनके अंदर ana बहुत थी. They used to laugh at Bengalis. They used to laugh at their death. Because Bengalis were Hindu and Muslim, they were dhoti kurta. Culture was same. So Sheikh Mujib used to wear dhoti and kurta sometimes. The other students also, they used to speak Bengali. They used to eat their rice and machli, which West Pakistanis didn't like, and they ridiculed them, laughed at them, discriminated against them. You know, diversity they didn't accept. आज भी ये problem है. Though I have many relatives over there, and I keep on talking, but the fact is this. So Mujibur Rahman came back hurt, and he started, you know, that movement finally that led to Pakistan's, Bangladesh's birth. Language. This had happened in our country also. This diversity was attacked out of just misunderstanding. When it was said that in South, in place of Tamil, Telugu and other languages, Hindi will be something like it was said in 1960s, and there was huge movement against this, and these DMK, all these were born out of that only. So we should not touch anyone's language, anyone's religion, anyone's this thing, because these are sub identities. There is a national identity, there is sub. इसको हमें respect करनी चाहिए लोगों की, तब एकता बनी रहती है. ठीक है, इंडिया में लेकिन तुरंत कोशिश की गई, फिर यहाँ पर 2 लैंग्वेज 3 लैंग्वेज फॉर्मूला आ गया और सबकी भाषाएं भी पढ़ते हैं और अपनी भाषा को मेंटेन करते हैं. So that was that happened there in Pakistan. Now look at India. When I talk to my relatives in Pakistan, and they feel amazed when they come to know that there are 25 official languages in India, more than that perhaps, 5,000 regional languages, 1,200 regional languages, 5,000 dialects, and many more languages. ऐसे भी languages यहाँ जिंदा और उनको सम्मान के साथ बचाने की कोशिश होती है, जिनके बोलने वाले सिर्फ 4 बचे हैं अंडमान निकोबार में. इसी ये कहते हैं diversity. I tell you, people love their dress sense and language, and culture more than their religion. Probably they love their country more than anything else. लेकिन उसके बाद जो कुछ आता है वो उनका लैंग्वेज होता है, उनकी स्टाइल होती है. उसको अटैक आप जब करेंगे, बड़ी बड़ी इंपायर्स इसमें खत्म हो गए. हिस्ट्री पढ़िए तो देखेंगे इस तरह के डिक्टेटोरियल डिक्टेट से या मैनिपुलेशन से. Public understands the manipulative policies of the governments when they do it. So that is not, it may be good for a political party, it is not good for the country. It is not good for the people. They should not feel alienated. So when I tell them, they are amazed. And I joke, okay, you are a country of one language, one religion, one dish, biryani, and one dress, Pathani suit. वैसे तो ये मेरा जोक है, वहां बहुत सारी डिशेस हैं, बहुत सारे, but dominantly this, यही है. And look at our dishes, thousands of dishes. You get a better dosa and sambar in North India than you can get in South. And you get better biryani than you can in South than you get in Delhi. Dresses में तो खैर कोई मुकाबला ही नहीं है पूरे दुनिया में. Languages, religions, all those things. So this is diversity. This is in danger. Teachers have to play a role in this by telling the students, by teaching them. Even I have views. I don't have much time, but I have views. When we started KEG, knowing that system on which the CMS gave me prize, KEG, knowing better. It's a philosophy, educational philosophy, knowing better, educating better, and growing together, KEG. तो उसमें हम ये बताते हैं कि आप साइंस पढ़ाते हुए भी, मैथ्स पढ़ाते हुए भी, जीके पढ़ाते हुए, कुछ कोई सब्जेक्ट हो जिसमें आप डाइवर्सिटी को ला सकते हैं बहुत इजीली, वैल्यूज को ला सकते हैं बहुत इजीली, और बच्चों के ऊपर इसी का असर पड़ता है. नाउ द नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टूडेंट्स, थिंकर्स, पॉलिटिशियंस are demanding that there should be a chapter on Northeast, their culture, their everything in NCERT books right from class 1. And the NCERT must heed, CBSE must heed to it. They should do. And all such things. Who are the heroes there? Who are the heroines? Thinkers? What are the different tribal culture? If they have a tribal culture, let us bring it to the mainstream, to the fore, for all to see, and then integration can take place and our country will be strong, solid. So that is about that. Now I'll give you the example of America. America, the most powerful country of the world, and most diverse also. In fact, in certain respects, more diverse than India. America is nothing but a conglomeration of different cultures, different nationalities. आपको मालूम है 100 देशों के लोग रहते हैं, 100 देशों के लोग अमेरिका के नागरिक हैं. अमेरिका ऐसा तो कुछ है नहीं, जो ओरिजिनल थे वो तो दे आर ऑन दी ऑलमोस्ट नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट. इंग्लैंड, अमेरिका, इंग्लैंड, जर्मनी, फ्रांस, पोलैंड, इंडिया, चाइना, जापान, मैक्सिको, ये सब मिलकर के अमेरिका को बनाते हैं. और दिस इज द पावर ऑफ अमेरिका. ऐसा नहीं है व्हाइट एंड ब्लैक्स, द इशू इज देयर. बट यू विजिट एनी क्लासरूम इन अमेरिका, any campus, they are the most vibrant and colorful campuses they have in America. And what does that mean? In a classroom, in a campus, you will find Japanese, you will find Chinese, you will find blacks, you will find Mexicans, you will find Arabs, you will find Indians in large numbers who are doing very well. And they live together, study together, grow together under great teachers. That is why people are ready to go to any extent to get admitted in Ivy League colleges, Harvard, many, because I get to know these stories from my students who have been admitted, who were admitted in American, England, English and Australian colleges. They tell these stories, and I know this as a personal. I visited England and I know these things for my personal experience. So, what is the secret of this? The diversity. And when you have different cultures, your ability automatic increases. टीचर की एबिलिटी कैसे बढ़ती है? अब आपको डिफरेंट बच्चों से डिफरेंट तरह से डील करना है. एक टीचर ऐसा रिसर्च में माना जाता है अपना 10% ही देता है क्लास में, 10% यूज करता है बस. ऐसे भी हम 30-40% से ज्यादा कोई नहीं यूज करता. आइंस्टीन भी नहीं यूज कर पाया 100%. तो 10% टीचर यूज करता है. जब एक डाइवर्स क्लासरूम रहेगा, वीक बच्चे भी हैं, इनडिसिप्लिन भी हैं, पुअर बैकग्राउंड के भी हैं, माइनॉरिटीज भी हैं, तो आप इसमें आप ज्यादा ब्रेन लगाएंगे. बच्चे भी ज्यादा कुछ एक दूसरे से सीखेंगे. वो हम लोग आते हैं कि कैसे ऐसा हो सकता है. तो ये वहां पर इसको एक वाइब्रेंट क्लासरूम मिलता है. इंटरेक्शंस ज्यादा होते हैं, आइडियाज ज्यादा होते हैं वहां पर, आइडिएशन ज्यादा होता है, एक्सचेंज ऑफ आइडियाज होता है. तो अमेरिका में इस चीज को बहुत इसका फायदा अमेरिका को मिला. इनफैक्ट वहां का जो आउटपुट है साइंस में, ये सब बिकॉज ऑफ अदर नेशनलिटीज जो वहां जाके जिनको वो लेकिन मेरिट को वो मौका दे. ऐसा नहीं कि दे डिस्क्रिमिनेट बिटवीन इंडियंस एंड अमेरिकन्स. नो, इट वाज देयर बिटवीन व्हाइट एंड बाय लॉ इट हैज बीन फिनिश्ड. अभी भी we saw an incident last year when one black George Floyd probably was killed by a American cop policeman who crushed his neck under the weight of his heavy legs and he died. लेकिन ultimately क्या हुआ? There is a rule of law. That cop, that policeman has been sentenced to probably death or life imprisonment. Immediately within a year ये हुआ. बहुत सारे whites उसके फेवर में खड़े हुए. तो एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग वहां पर है. इंडियंस को भी ऐसे कुछ होता है तो अमेरिकन खड़े होते हैं वहां पर. लेकिन लाइक एवरी सोसाइटी देयर इज ऑल्सो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, देयर इज दिस थिंग, बट दे आर डाइवर्स, वेरी डाइवर्स. देयर इज फ्रीडम एंड देयर इज डाइवर्सिटी. इन दैट डाइवर्सिटी दे फाइंड देयर यूनिटी. दैट इज व्हाई दे आर द ग्रेटेस्ट. One before I move to another point, I would like to give an example from India again. How this diversity works. ये बच्चों के लिए भी बहुत है. क्लास में एग्जाम्पल इसका दिया जा सकता है. अभी लास्ट 3 months back in Australia, India beat Australia in test match, which is very rare, and without Kohli, without some other top players, India beat Australia. 4 players in that particular test match had played very important role. 4 players. Rishabh Pant, a Hindu, Mohammad Siraj, a Muslim, Shubham Gill, a Sikh, Washington Sundar, a Christian. हम कहते हैं ना हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई. इन्हीं चारों ने जिताया. This is the beauty of India, and this should be played out. This should be advertised by every teacher in the classroom. This is how India wins. Look at American teams. उसमें ब्लैक भी होते हैं, उसमें व्हाइट भी होते हैं, उसमें मैक्सिकन भी होते हैं, उसमें उनके हीरोज को देखिए, ब्लैक्स भी हैं इसमें, उनके न्यूज रीडर्स को देखिए, सभी हैं उसमें. जैसे इंडिया में होता है वैसे वहां पर है. तो ये चार प्लेयर्स का किस तरह से इंडिया की स्ट्रेंथ है, ये ब्यूटी है, ये पावर है इंडिया की. इसे बचाना है. टीचर्स का रोल इसमें ज्यादा है, क्लासरूम का रोल इसमें ज्यादा है, प्रिंसिपल्स का रोल इसमें ज्यादा है. इसको हमें आगे लेकर के चलना है. आई विल नाउ टेल यू a tool. Question will ask how to do it. So from my personal experience, I will narrate one incident when I was a young PGT in a Delhi school, and those people who know Delhi schools, especially the boarding schools, they know better that in boarding schools you have a very sizable chunk of northeastern students from Manipur, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh. They stay in hotels. They probably get some kind of grant also. So they stay in these boarding schools together in a group. And because of ethnic considerations and because of their minority in numbers in the capital. So once they are admitted in a school, they tend to flock together. They stay together. Nepalis भी होते हैं, वो भी उसमें थे. So I was class teacher of 11th A, and there were about 10 students of Northeastern origin in that class. And the rest were Hindi speaking, English speaking, North Indians, you can say, and there were few South Indians, one or two from Telugu and Malayalam, क्योंकि दिल्ली में तो सभी लोग रहते हैं. So what happened that a fight, someone picked up a fight, and then the two groups became very hot between the two groups. It didn't reach that level, but then there was some fight. And what happened? All the Northeastern students, naturally, you cannot blame them, became of the school, in fact, all 11 sections. There were 5 sections in class 11th. All the Northeastern students, they joined hands, because the North Indians, Hindi speaking, English speaking, they were larger in numbers. So it started with my class, but situation became very hot and very disturbing. The matter went to the principal, and we had a meeting. Then it was left upon me to solve it, because if it is solved in my section, then naturally it will be subsided in other sections, because it had started from my section. So I was a class teacher, and I had that idea of KEG even then, knowing better, educating better, and growing together. So I called them. हम हमेशा बच्चों की बात उनको जानना चाहते हैं. I want to know the child from his first name, and once he becomes close and I become familiar with, then I want to know his background, his parents, hobbies, habits. And I had seen that in England, जहाँ पर हर टीचर के पास एक रजिस्टर होता है, पूरा बैकग्राउंड उसमें लिखते हैं, उसी के हिसाब से वो डील करते हैं फिर बच्चों से. तो दिल्ली स्कूल में तो ज्यादा नहीं था, बट आई हैड मेड माय ओन रजिस्टर. तो मैंने उसको, I turned over pages, I found that these children in a hobby they have written music. I called them, and these two groups were speaking less with each other, and after that fight they stopped speaking to each other at all. Boys, girls of Northeastern origin and North Indians became two clear-cut groups in the class. So it was a boarding school. In the evening I called the Northeastern. In fact, I didn't call, I visited their hostel, their quarter, part of that hostel where they lived. And I talked to them. And then I came to know that some of them play guitar. I said, this is very good. And I said, you people should we organize a music competition? Suddenly they forgot the fight. They said, yes sir, music competition. होना चाहिए. We cannot play our guitar. We cannot, if you know their lifestyle, if you know their culture, you will not be surprised that they play guitar. They were wearing shorts, and these which we see today, even a 60-year-old wearing shorts and half pants and all, they are wearing them. छुट्टी जैसे खत्म होती थी शाम को, वो अपने शॉर्ट्स और तरह तरह कलरफुल, तो उसको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ता था हम लोगों को. तो उन्होंने कहा कि हम ये करेंगे. हमने कहा ठीक है. तो सबसे पहले हमने एक अपने क्लास 11th का म्यूजिक कंपटीशन कराया. हमने कहा चलो सारे बच्चे आएंगे. अब हुआ क्या कि जब म्यूजिक कंपटीशन हुआ तो वो बच्चे गिटार के साथ वो गाना गाना उन्होंने शुरू किया. अपने क्लास में ही हमने ऑर्गेनाइज कराया, और सारे बच्चे ध्यान से सुना. आई रिमेंबर वन सॉन्ग विच प्लेड एंड sang also. They have a very different pronunciation. अब उस पर आप अगर आप हेल्दी वे में हंसते हैं ठीक है, लेकिन अगर आप मजाक उड़ाने के लिए हंसेंगे तो वो माइंड करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. उसको एक्सेप्ट करें, हम उसको रिस्पेक्ट करें. तो वो एक नीले नीले अंबर के नीचे एक गाना अभी भी कभी कभी सुनते हैं, वो उसने बजा के वो गाया. फिर दे स्टार्ट, इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स हैव मोर इंटीमेसी, मोर कनेक्टेडनेस, मोर इनफॉर्मेलिटी विद ईच अदर देन इन नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न. आई एम सेइंग ऑल दोस 8 स्टेट्स. और ये फिर यूपी, बिहार या दिल्ली में 86 की बात बता रहे हैं. आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ 1986. So it was quite rare with boys and girls dancing together, singing together and bonding together. ये उनका देख करके पूरा क्लास एकदम खुश हो गया। और फिर इधर के बच्चों ने भी गाया, हिंदी में, भोजपुरी, बिहार के बच्चों ने कुछ ट्राई किया, पटना से बहुत सारे बच्चे थे। सो इट बिकेम दे फॉरगॉट एवरीथिंग। बच्चे जल्दी भूल भी जाते हैं। अब हम लोगों ने क्या किया कि हमने कहा अच्छा इट्स गुड, क्योंकि टेंशन और क्लासेस में भी है 11 के सेक्शंस में। हमने पूरे 11 का एक म्यूजिक कॉम्पिटिशन कराया और हमारा क्लास फर्स्ट आया। दूसरा क्लास भी जो फर्स्ट आया उसमें वो क्लास भी अपने नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न बच्चों की वजह से फर्स्ट आया, बिकॉज दे प्लेड गिटार, दे सैंग, दे डांस। वो जजेस को बहुत अच्छा लगा एंड दैट वाज अ न्यू एक्सपीरियंस। अब क्या हुआ कि सब में दोस्ती बरकरार हो गई, सब एक साथ रहने लगे और सब सारे इधर के बच्चे उनके रिस्पेक्ट करने लगे, उनके गिटार के पीछे पीछे तुम्हारा गिटार दिखाओ, तुम्हारा गिटार दो। दिस यूज्ड टू हैपन। अब हमको ये समझ आया कि थोड़ा पढ़ने में ये लोग बच्चे कमजोर हैं, तो हमने बुलाया जो मैथ्स में सबसे अच्छा बच्चा था, जो ग्रुप था। हमने कहा कि ऐसा करो, स्कूल आवर के बाद तुम इनको मैथ्स पढ़ा दो और ये तुमको गिटार सिखा देंगे। बस मजा आ गया। They became happy and this is how things went up. तो ये diversity is something which we can handle in many creative ways, and it's very delicate thing. इसको delicately, creatively imagine करना पड़ेगा, imagine करके ऐसे इसको चलना पड़ेगा। उसी तरह से जो वो डाइवर्सिटी को मतलब जो अच्छे प्योर बच्चे हैं तब भी आपके क्लास डाइवर्स है। रिच बैकग्राउंड और पुअर बैकग्राउंड, मिडिल बैकग्राउंड, ये भी डाइवर्सिटी है। पढ़ने में तेज नहीं है, you will find all these singers, players and musicians and tech-savvy children sitting in the back benches, side benches, वहीं पर वो मिलते हैं। So this is how it went and अब हम लोग क्विकली देख लेते हैं, तो आप टेकन लॉट ऑफ टाइम, क्विकली देख लेते हैं कि और क्या हम लोग इसमें कर सकते हैं, हाउ वी कैन गो अहेड विद दिस। तो सबसे बड़ी बात है इसको रिकॉग्नाइज करना है, रिस्पेक्ट करना है और क्वेश्चंस को आंसर करना है। क्लास में हर तरह के बच्चे होंगे, वहां क्वेश्चन जब नहीं आंसर होता है उनका, एंड यू नो इट मे नॉट बी नेसेसरली क्वेश्चन ऑन मैथ्स, साइंस, हिंदी, ज्योग्राफी. It may be a question which may sound irritating, awkward, but that question may have come from the heart of a humiliated, hurt, bullied child. He may be bullied, he may have been bullied or abused at home, maybe in the society, maybe in the class, maybe by the principal. Anyway, some kind of injustice may have been committed against him, and he may ask a question which you may not understand. But if you are not ready to answer questions patiently, empathetically, sympathetically, you will not be able to solve this diversity, which is complex, easy and complex both. So that, you know, mass shootings take place in America. Quite often in schools we see, in society we see. That is the result, because the questions of these students, these deviated young men, were not answered at some forum or the other properly. Maybe by their parents, in the family, in the society, in the school. So we have to be ready to answer their questions, and mass shooting has taken place there also. So recognize the diversity in the class and answer the questions. That is one. Secondly, mainstreaming. फिर से आते हैं उसी तरह. Classroom. There are 4 walls in the classroom. The front wall occupied by the teacher. He is the master of that teacher. But don't be master. If a class is diverse, if you have to handle a class, diverse class, don't be master of that class. Be a friend of that class. Friend भी बहुत समझदारी से, नहीं तो बच्चे सर पर चढ़ जाते हैं. तो you don't have to love them, you have to care for them. Education is what remains with the child in his future life when everything learnt has been forgotten. जब सब कुछ भूल जाता है, जो बचता है वही एजुकेशन है. यही टाइम है टीचर उनको वो वैल्यूज दे सकता है. तो आप, और बच्चे उसी को याद करते हैं जो उनको लव करता था, उसको नहीं याद करते. जो उनको अच्छे से पढ़ाता था, डांटता भी था, केयर करता था. The difference between care and love. Please follow the the maheen line between barik line between love and care. So don't love, care for them, right? तो मेन स्ट्रीमिंग करना है. 4 वॉल होती है, एक वॉल टीचर की हो गई, फ्रंट हो गया अच्छे बच्चों का नॉर्मली, not it's not rule general, and then the side walls and the back walls. साइड वॉल में एक तरफ जनरली गर्ल्स, एक तरफ बॉयज होते हैं, फिर बैक बेंचर्स जिसको कहते हैं. साइड में अब देखो वहां दीवार होती है. व्हाई आर दे सिटिंग, व्हाई दीज चिल्ड्रन विद नॉट ब्रिलियंट, नॉट सो गुड इन स्टडीज, वो वहां क्यों बैठते हैं? वहीं जाके बैठते हैं. कितना भी आज चेंज करिए, सीट बनाइए, वो 2 दिन 4 दिन फिर वहीं बैठने लगते हैं. इसलिए कि उनके परसेप्शन ऐसा है, हमने बनाया हुआ है कि क्लासरूम जो है, स्कूल और क्लास तो पढ़ने वालों के लिए होता है. इट इज क्लासरूम इज फॉर स्टडीज एंड स्टूडियस स्टूडेंट्स. तो जो स्टूडियस नहीं होता है वो फिर वो टीचर से बचता है, वो बैठेगा साइड में, और साइड में भी दीवार की तरफ वाला जो बच्चा होता है वो समझिए वहां डाउट है, उसी को आपको देखना है. जो बैक बेंचर है उसको देखना है, क्योंकि वो समझता है कि मेरी जगह यहां नहीं है, लेकिन उसे भेजा गया है, पेरेंट्स ने भेजा है, तो वो शरण लेता, वो छुपता है वॉल की तरफ. और वॉल से द काइंड ऑफ सपोर्ट विच इज एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम यू, द काइंड ऑफ एश्योरेंस, द काइंड ऑफ लव, केयर which he is expecting from you, when he doesn't get, he goes to the wall, he sits there, उसको बड़ा assured feel करता है, he feels secure. It's very psychological. He feels secure there, as if nobody is seeing. He actually he is escaping your stare, he is escaping your cane if you are using it, he is escaping your sometimes anger, prejudice, your humiliation, your satire on him, your threat that I will take you to the principal, or your oral violence or physical violence, which you sometimes do or which we sometimes do. उससे बचने के लिए वो वहां होता है. ठीक है. अब अगर डाइवर्स क्लास है, डाइवर्सिटी को हटाना है, तो उसको मेन स्ट्रीमिंग करना पड़ेगा, मेन स्ट्रीम में लाना पड़ेगा, दोस्ती करवानी पड़ेगी. When I was in class 10th in the mid 70s, 1970s, हमारे मैथ्स के टीचर नहीं थे. हमने पूरा मैथ्स एक दोस्त से पढ़ा. ट्रिग्नोमेट्री, ज्योमेट्री, ये सब हमें आती भी नहीं थी ज्यादा, तो हमने उससे पढ़ा. उसको हम कुछ देते थे, तो वो यहां पर बार्टर सिस्टम चलाना पड़ेगा आपको. यू गिव समथिंग, ही विल गिव यू समथिंग. यू गिव मी रिस्पेक्ट, आई विल गिव यू this, or I am giving, first I am giving you my attention and energy, you give at least respect. That is one thing. एक बच्चे को बच्चे से लगा दीजिए, तुम मुझे गिटार सिखाओ, मैं तुम्हें मैथ्स पढ़ा दूंगा. बार्टर सिस्टम तो मेन स्ट्रीमिंग हो जाएगी. इधर के बच्चे इधर मिलेंगे, इधर के बच्चे इधर मिलेंगे, चाहे नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न होगा, चाहे वो हैंडीकैप्ड कोई है वहां पर, चाहे जेंडर का इशू हो, चाहे ट्रांसजेंडर का इशू हो सोसाइटी में, यहाँ पर इस सब को मेन स्ट्रीमिंग वहां पे क्लासरूम में हो जाएगी. फिर उसकी खुशबू फैलेगी स्कूल में, सोसाइटी में. स्कूल एंड क्लासरूम्स आर फीडर एजेंसीज फॉर द सोसाइटी. वी ओनली प्रोवाइड citizens to the society. So if we follow this, we will provide citizens who love diversity, who respect diversity, and they will become actually truly Indian national citizens, global citizens. So we prepare and provide to the society. This is our responsibility. तो ये क्लासरूम में जो हमारी लेबोरेटरी है, उसी में से हम बनाए, जो हमारी फैक्ट्री है, उसमें से बना के बाहर निकालेंगे. बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स सबको हम लेकर के चलेंगे. तो मेन स्ट्रीमिंग के बाद हम लोग आएंगे कंपटीशन. न्यू रिसर्च सेज दैट कोऑपरेशन इज बेटर देन कंपटीशन. सोसाइटी में भी जहां डाइवर्सिटी होती है, कुछ इकोनॉमिक ग्रुप्स रहते हैं, मार्जिन पर रहते हैं, विमेन हैं या कमजोर लोग हैं, और उसी में रिच लोग भी रहते हैं. जब पुअर लोग रिच लोगों से कंपटीशन करने लगते हैं तो उनकी हार हो जाती है. वो तो इसलिए नहीं, कोऑपरेशन में भी, और रिच को भी नहीं करना चाहिए. कंपटीशन इज नॉट गुड. ये कभी पहले का सिद्धांत था. कॉम्पीट करना है, कोऑपरेट करना है. सो कोऑपरेशन का एक फीलिंग वहां पर हमको लाना है. कंपटीशन से वो बच्चे जो हमारे बैक बेंचर, साइड बेंचर, तो कंपटीशन से बहुत डरते हैं, बहुत उनको शर्म आती है. दे फील शाई, दे फील हेजिटेंट, वो तुरंत भाग जाते हैं, वहां से छोड़ के चले जाते हैं। आई नो व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ स्टडीज एंड ऑल एंड यू स्टार्ट प्रेजिंग समवन, वो वहां से और हो जाए, फिर एलिनेट कर रहे हैं आप उनको, उनको एक्सक्लूड कर रहे हैं, उनको नॉर्थ ईस्ट बना रहे हैं आप, या उनको कोई एक सप्रेस्ड माइनॉरिटी बना रहे हैं उसी क्लासरूम के अंदर। तो उसको हमको करना है कंपटीशन नहीं, कोऑपरेशन। कोऑपरेशन सिखाना है, एक दूसरे से कोऑपरेट करके आगे बढ़े और अपने आप डाइवर्सिटी हमारी स्ट्रांग हो जाएगी। एंड देन नंबर 4 इज सब आइडेंटिटी रिस्पेक्ट। जैसा हमने पहले भी बताया कि सब आइडेंटिटी को हम लोगों को रिस्पेक्ट करना है। कोई किसी प्रोफेशनल ग्रुप से आता है, कोई बच्चा किसी कम्युनिटी से आता है, कोई once I remember as a principal, 2 children came at 2 different points of time. One came, he said, sir, आज सर ने, I will not take neither the child nor the sir's name. उन्होंने कहा कि तुम इतने बड़े बाप के बेटो, तुम्हें पढ़ने लिखने से क्या मतलब है? अरे तुम तो ऐसे ही बैठ के घर में खा सकते हो। He came crying. Then I had a session with the teacher. I gave a counseling and all those things. Another time a child came, oh, you belong to this community. उस कम्युनिटी को पढ़ने लिखने से क्या फायदा? आई विल नॉट टेक द नेम ऑफ द, उसको पढ़ने लिखने से क्या मतलब है? वहां पे सब पढ़ाई नहीं होती है, यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम। तो बच्चों की सब आइडेंटिटी जो होती है, उनकी उप पहचान जो होती है, एक नेशनल है, वी आर ऑल इंडियंस, उसके अलावा जो उनकी सब आइडेंटिटी सभी है, रिलीजियस हो और है, उसी को रिस्पेक्ट करना है, तभी डाइवर्सिटी बचेगी, क्लास की भी और वो भी। उसको आप नहीं चिढ़ा सकते हैं। SC ST, रिमेंबर, डू यू रिमेंबर रिसेंटली this happened in IIT Kharagpur, the biggest, the greatest, and many a time number 1 IIT of India. 200 एकड़ का कैंपस है। अभी क्या हुआ वहां पर? एक मैडम, she belonged to upper caste. She was teaching IIT students. She was taking special class of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe students. क्योंकि IIT तो नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट है, बहुत पुराना, और वहां पे सभी ग्रुप के बच्चे पढ़ते हैं, तो SC ST के भी बच्चे जाते हैं, पढ़ते हैं। Behaving in a particular way, perhaps, what I don't know, she couldn't appreciate the origins of those children, कि अगर उनके बिहेवियर में कोई कमी है तो ये भी देखो कि वो कहां से आ रहे हैं, किन मुश्किलों को पार करके वो पहुंचे हैं। हमारे बिहार के डॉक्टर अनंत कुमार जो ऐसे ही बच्चों को पढ़ा के भेजते हैं, उनको उन्होंने साफ साफ एब्यूज कर दिया by passing casteist remarks on them that you deserve what you get, you people don't deserve to be in IIT. Just 2 months ago I'm telling you, the upper caste woman professor, but here is in our country rule of law, she was punished, suspended. ऐसी बातें डाइवर्सिटी के लिए बहुत खतरा है। अदरवाइज डाइवर्सिटी इज आवर फंडामेंटल ट्रूथ, आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया, पावरफुल आइडिया, ब्यूटीफुल आइडिया। तो इसको बचाना है, तो सब आइडेंटिटी का भी ख्याल हम लोगों को रखना है। और KG के बारे में हमने बार बार कहा है, नोइंग बेटर, बच्चों को जानना है, उनकी प्रॉब्लम्स को समझना, ये इसका एक हिस्सा होता है। एजुकेटिंग बेटर, KE, एजुकेटिंग बेटर। एजुकेटिंग बेटर मीन्स आपको उनको सिर्फ सब्जेक्ट नहीं पढ़ाना है, आपको वैल्यूज पढ़ाना है, नेशनलिस्टिक वैल्यूज, सोशल वैल्यूज, मॉरल वैल्यूज, ये सब भी पढ़ाना, और उन्हीं को इन्वायरमेंट के बारे में बताना है। पढ़ाने से नहीं, दिखाने से, बताने से, डिमॉन्स्ट्रेट करने से आप उनको हर चीज, मैथ्स वाले भी इन्वायरमेंट के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं। और तब आपको देखो न्यूटन मिलेगा, आइंस्टीन मिलेगा वहां पर, क्योंकि उसका इंटरेस्ट जग गया अगर, तो फिर तो उसको कोई रोक नहीं पाएगा। आई नो मेनी स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम माय स्कूल हु आर साइंटिस्ट, हु आर बाय चॉइस दे हैव टेकन अप certain professions and they didn't go in the traditional, in the rat race, because they were told in a way साइंटिस्ट, इंजीनियर नहीं साइंटिस्ट बनो। तो ऐसा भी बहुत सारे बच्चे। तो एजुकेटिंग बेटर का मतलब कि आपको एजुकेट करना है, टीच नहीं, एजुकेट करना है, कंप्लीट पर्सनालिटी, आउटलुक, हर अच्छी चीज के बारे में, और उनके पेरेंट्स को भी करना है थ्रू योर नोटिसेस, कम्युनिकेशंस, मीटिंग्स। क्योंकि अगर पेरेंट्स करेंगे, सोसाइटी भी एजुकेट होती रहेगी धीरे धीरे आपसे। और ये टेक्नोलॉजी का जो जमाना है, इसमें तो बहुत जल्दी लोग कर रहे हैं, तो आपका ही काम आसान होगा। जितना सोसाइटी एजुकेटेड होगी, वो आपका, वो आप अपने वैल्यूज से, अपने सिस्टम से उनको कर सकते हैं। एंड देयर वेज, इस पर कभी हम लोग और बात करेंगे कि कम्युनिटी को कैसे आप इनलाइटन कर सकते हैं। तो एजुकेट बेटर, knowing better, educate and growing together. This is very important segment of my philosophy, KEG. Growing together. इसमें 4 सेगमेंट हैं, आप समझिए। क्या, एक तो बच्चे हैं जो पढ़ते हैं, टीचर पढ़ाता है उनको, उनके पेरेंट्स हैं, और एक कम्युनिटी है जहां से बच्चे आते हैं। ये सबका ग्रोथ होता है और सबको ग्रो करना चाहिए। हम तो कहते हैं कि वो हम बच्चों से बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं। लर्निंग टुगेदर, ग्रोइंग टुगेदर का मतलब यह है कि बच्चा भी ग्रो कर रहा है, हम भी ग्रो कर रहे हैं। आप इसे मास्टर मत बनिए, लीव योर ईगो साइड कि आई नो एवरीथिंग। बहुत कुछ बच्चे सिखाएंगे। थोड़ा सा अपना एंगर, थोड़ा सा अपना ये छोड़ करके बच्चों के लेवल पर उतरिए, उनके कभी उनके डेस्क के बगल में बैठ जाइए, लेकिन हंसी मजाक करने के लिए नहीं, अननेसेसरी, क्योंकि फिर उसके अलग इश्यूज हो जाते हैं। आप उनको कॉन्फिडेंस दीजिए और देखिए कि वो कैसे आप इवॉल्व होंगे खुद ही। फ्रॉम ए टीचर यू विल इवॉल्व इनटू एन एजुकेटर। तो ग्रोइंग टुगेदर, और इसीलिए हम बीएड जरूरी तो है, लेकिन सिस्टम ट्रेंड अगर आप हैं, बच्चों के साथ आप सीखते चले जाते हैं, बहुत इंप्रूव करेंगे, बहुत पॉलिशिंग आपकी हो जाएगी। ए टीचर लर्न्स मोर देन एंड ग्रोज मोर देन, ए गुड टीचर लर्न्स एंड ग्रोज मोर देन हिज स्टूडेंट। तो इसको हम इसको लेकर के हम डाइवर्सिटी की इश्यूज को ये करते। दूसरी चीज है, क्विकली आई गो थ्रू, कि जैसे अभी हमने फिर बताया, वो नॉर्थ ईस्ट के बच्चे मांग कर रहे हैं कि एनसीईआरटी हमारा लेसन होना चाहिए। ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं है, I know it is there in patches and parts. I've taught history, I've taught English, and I see all the subjects. इसमें है, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं वहां की। ये जहां भी चीजें आए, सर और कंसोलिडेटेड वे में आने की जरूरत है। जहां भी ये चीजें आए उसको बढ़ाइए, उसको हाईलाइट करिए उसी से। बहुत सारे लोग तो उसको कोर्स ही में नहीं रखते। अच्छा ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट के ऊपर है, ये किसी माइनॉरिटी का, ये इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, क्योंकि हम प्रेजुडिस्ड हैं कुछ हीरोज को लेकर अपने। तो जो साइड में मार्जिन्स पर जो लोग मिलते हैं, जो इस तरह के पॉइंट्स आए जहां हमारी डाइवर्सिटी मजबूत हो रही है, डाइवर्सिटी और खुशबू पैदा हो रही है, उसको आप पढ़ाते समय हाईलाइट करिए। ये आपकी ड्यूटी है, एक टूल है डाइवर्सिटी में आपका रोल का, उसको जरूर हाईलाइट करिए, बताइए, पढ़ाइए। तो हाईलाइट करना। और एक चीज कि न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, करिकुलम में डाइवर्सिटी को अपने ढंग से वो रख रहे हैं, और एक बहुत ही रिवोल्यूशनरी स्टेप लिया गया न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में। एंड आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड, दैट इज वेरी, आई मीन करिकुलम डाइवर्सिटी। जो भी लोग उस पर नजर रख रहे हैं, मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी को, दे विल बी वेरी हैप्पी। आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू अ डे व्हेन स्टूडेंट विल से, सर आई हैव history in the first period, chemistry in the second, and BST in the third period. My fourth period is civics and my fifth is physics. ये अब रियलाइज होने जा रहा है इसी साल से। तो एक ये भी बहुत है, कुछ बच्चे हैं जो पढ़ना चाहते थे फिजिक्स, साथ में उनका हिस्ट्री में भी इंटरेस्ट था, they were not allowed this combination. So a new combination is coming up. So curriculum diversity हमारी सरकार ने जो इसको दिया है, I salute on behalf of the teaching fraternity, teaching community and the students that they have given a choice to the which was long standing demand, choice to the children. Okay, so that is also a diversity friendly step. ऑनलाइन एंड डिफरेंट, ऑनलाइन जो हो रहा है, ये तो एक नया डायमेंशन इसमें जोड़ रहा है, और इसके थ्रू भी हम इन चीजों को बहुत आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं। एंड आई विल जस्ट फिनिश विद 2 क्विक पॉइंट्स। टीचर्स एंड एजुकेटर्स, इफ यू इग्नोर डाइवर्सिटी एंड not work to promote it in your classroom, actually you are not doing your job well. So you have to do it, and remember that what you teach and what you educate to the children, they will remember that only. Educate means the values, the good things. They will forget mathematics, physics. अब किसी काम नहीं आता, आप खुद भी जानते होंगे, टीचर के अलावा और किसी काम नहीं आता है, तो उसको भूल जाएंगे। और जो आप वैल्यूज देंगे उसी को याद करेंगे। अभी भी जब हम लोगों के पास कभी कभी बच्चों के लेटर्स मैसेजेस आते हैं कि जो सर आपने सेल्फ स्टडी का कॉन्सेप्ट आपने बताया, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस के बारे में जो टूल्स बताए स्कूल में जो हम लोगों ने अपने टीचर से सीखा, आपसे सीखा, तो उसके लिए हम लोग आज विदेशों में भी बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं। दैट इज आवर सपोर्ट सिस्टम। तो वो बहुत अच्छा लगता है सुनने के लिए। बस वन लास्ट पॉइंट, अब्राहम लिंकन, teachers and educators, Abraham Lincoln once said very famously and very importantly that if I am given a task to chop off a tree, to cut a tree, and given 4 hours to cut it, I will use 2.5 to sharpen my axe, and the rest 1.5 I will cut the tree easily. तो तैयारी जो होती है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तैयार होकर क्लास में जाइएगा, मेंटली प्रिपेयर्ड होकर के, फिजिकली प्रिपेयर्ड होकर, कुछ टीचिंग टूल्स लेकर के जब आप क्लास में जाएंगे तो तब सही में आप मास्टर होंगे क्लास के, और डाइवर्सिटी के प्रोटेक्टर होंगे, इसके प्रमोटर बनेंगे, और जाने अनजाने चाहे आपको पता न चले आप देश के प्रोटेक्टर बन जाएंगे, आप भारत के प्रोटेक्टर और प्रमोटर बन जाएंगे। जय हिंद एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू गेटी, थैंक यू टीचर्स, थैंक यू व्यूअर्स।
Thank you so much, Mohammad Arif Saab, for that talk, which was very heartfelt and therefore made a lot of sense. And I wish everybody good evening and goodbye. But before that, I would like to let you know that Getty, or the Global Education and Training Institute, enhancing education by transforming teachers' practices. And for this, we have many programs, training programs, and the one which is coming up now is on the 12th of this very month, and it is handwriting experience and functional brain development. This will be done by our trainers from the USA, James and Mary Pierce. For further information, please go to gettylearn.org, that is GETILEARN.org, or talk to phone number 740-840-1000. So, thanking our mentor once again, Dr. Sunita Gandhi, for this excellent format where we meet educators like Mr. Mohammad Arif. And thank you so much, sir, for that very interesting talk which you have given us. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you,
and good evening.
Oh, goodbye, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.